Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
Hello,
Weirder
hello.
Together 2025.
Yes, 2025, still 2025.
What's up, babe? It's Ben Lee.
It's Ione Skye.
Major things going on all over the world, but nothing bigger than my body's rejection of the earring I chose to get as a 45-year-old man. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be the cool dad.
Yeah.
A year, my ear did not accept this fucking earring.
I know. I think you you slept on it every night, and also just, being older, your body, but you're not older. I don't know.
My body did not want it. And I refused to. It's almost like the way hangovers take a longer time to get over as you get older.
Yeah. I think that's more like it. I'm all about science is real these days. Because I was saying maybe you just like emotionally didn't want it, so your body rejected it. But I think you just like what you're saying.
Oh, you think psychologically I willed my ear
that's what I was
to produce
thinking.
the pus that was a signifier.
Oh.
2025, we're being open about pus.
Oh God.
It's happening.
Now that I'm seeing your hole in your ear, maybe get a hoop this time. I'm kidding.
Well, no, I don't think it's
Nothing
what
more.
the shape was. I
I
just think my
know.
body did not want the earring. But anyway, we were discussing the, I guess, mythology around Led Zeppelin for some reason.
Right. So
Why were we talking about that? Oh, because we saw the Dylan movie.
Yes.
And there was a trailer for a Led Zeppelin. I also want to talk about the Dylan movie, but let's talk about Zeppelin first.
Wait, what was the trailer again?
It was like a doco about Led Zeppelin that's coming out.
Right.
Okay.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Questlove, Sly, and the Family Stone. Yeah. So Zeppelin, I never thought were cringy or like corny. Like I always thought they were.
No, they're not corny. The conversation was about them being
nerdy. So you said
there's a difference between corny and nerdy.
That's true. You said it's not, and it was this sort of look of the album covers maybe, but you said it's not that they were, it's that their fans were.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin were actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But they appealed to nerds.
Okay.
Like they were music for nerds.
Okay.
Because who fantasizes about these like D&D, knights dressed in medieval tunics?
Okay. So like Spinal Tap.
As like sexually, like raping and pillaging medieval villages. That was the whole vibe.
Really? That was their vibe?
Yeah, I mean, that is straight up for D&D.
But didn't they have that album, or no, that's Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's album with that cool like light coming in a triangular shape.
I believe it's called Dark Side of the Moon. I've heard of it, yeah.
That's cool imagery.
Yeah, Pink Floyd though, I feel confident saying they are nerds. But anyway, that's
okay.
So we saw the Dylan movie and we saw the trailer for Led Zeppelin. And you went down a whole existential spiral there.
Yeah. I think we got this though. I don't know that we have to go through
it. ran out during that. So
right.
We don't know
have
where.
it on. But she likes some of the stuff from it. But wait, I was thinking about something else. So
But I want to talk about the Dylan movie.
No, I know. But the Led Zeppelin thing, yes, sometimes I don't know what's considered corny or not. So yeah, we saw two cool. Well, we saw the biopic, the Dylan movie, and then also we're watching the Ace of Base documentary.
Oh yeah, the Ace of Base on SBS,
which is kind of
that's fun to say. Ace of Base on SBS. It's not if you have a lisp, but
no.
Yeah, that's All That She Wants. Did you see that on SBS? We're only halfway through it.
All That She Wants, and then what was the other song that they had?
Oh, I saw the sign and opened up. Great hits.
I know. It's pretty, it sounds like it wouldn't be a fun documentary, but it's pretty interesting.
Well, look, you bring in Nazis and you can make any story interesting. as America, the history of America is
there was
proving
forgiveness.
out.
He was in a dark place. There was an arc. That was more like when Sarah Silverman used to have people who were reformed skinheads.
True.
Like they were troubled youth.
Yeah.
That's less troubling than adults who should be out of that phase.
But wasn't it wild in the Ace of Base doco when the way he referred to the violence that he'd participated in as a skinhead sounded horrific.
He was horrified by it.
And he intimated, he didn't say any details.
He was just like, it was
dark.
Truly troubled, but kind of had processed it.
Yeah.
This was years and years later.
Yeah, and the manager was a Jewish guy, and there was a very emotional.
Yeah, it was really interesting documentary.
Also because the music, like Ace of Base's music, it has a disposable quality to it.
Right.
Even though those songs have actually stood the test of time.
And they would not die. Those songs would not die.
I love it.
It's just interesting to me, all the different territories that a song might be number one for months in wherever, Europe, and then it has to go to England, and then it comes to America. It was just interesting about the business.
It's weird because in the music industry, on one hand, they can sort of shove anything down your throat when they decide to, major labels, right? But an actual hit is quite magical and elusive.
Yeah.
And I remember when Catch My Disease had blown up in Australia and Spain and the Netherlands. And these various territories did see it as, okay, this thing works. Let's try and make it happen here. Let's try and make it there. And you realize that, like, they are, you know, when you find a winning horse, they do want to double down on it. You can't make anything a hit.
I know, it's fascinating.
Can we talk about the Dylan movie though?
Of
A Complete Unknown?
So,
Because we normally actually pretty much agree on films, I think.
Well, you were nervous going in, which I understand, because I've had that seeing biopics where you love the artist.
I had anxiety,
you're
man.
afraid. We were walking down
King Street, Newtown.
in Newtown.
Shaking in my boots, quivering.
I know. And I was sort of preparing myself to just be open-minded. But you, I liked it more than you did.
My relationship with Bob Dylan, although we do have an interesting connection to him because our daughter, Goldie, was born the night after she was you were standing a few feet away from Bob Dylan.
Right.
We visited, Nash Edgerton was directing a music video, and you, 9 months pregnant, we went down there and watched Bob Dylan and stood behind him. So I do believe he did assist in labor. He blessed that labor.
Yes, he did. Yeah. But listen, I don't think you have a more special relationship.
Not special. You think of me. I know I do present myself as being special in some ways, but I'm not saying I'm special. You always tell me I'm like a special boy.
No. So you're saying for you were worried to watch someone portray Dylan, of course.
No, I'm protective of my personal internal relationship.
Of course.
So like it's probably like if you love a book.
No, I think you're not alone in that. I think you're not alone in that. But I'm not trying to take it away from you, but I think you're not alone in.
Look, I want to center myself in the dialogue about the Bob Dylan movie.
People have that, like also like movies, books made into film.
Yes.
So that's always hard to do.
Do you know what I resent though about this whole scenario with this Bob Dylan movie is that like
me? No, I'm kidding.
No, that you have to like if you don't get behind it, you're seen as like a sort of grumpy old head. Do you know what I mean? It's like it seems like even
because it's not bad. It's not.
It's like you're being a spoil sport.
It's not a terrible movie.
It's a great movie.
So that's what I mean.
The formal elements are. It's a great movie.
If it was bad, you could be grumpy, but because it's good, you would come off as being grumpy.
Yeah, like our friend Jamie called me a hater.
I know
for not liking it,
and he was too harsh.
But he loved the movie. But I'll tell you.
But you know. Okay. That's okay. No, Jamie might have more broad taste, so don't take it personally.
Okay, but I'll tell you the thing about A Complete Unknown. I already got a Dylan movie. It was called I'm Not There. It was directed by Todd Haynes. It came out 15 years ago with Cate Blanchett, everyone playing Dylan.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and it was my perfect Dylan movie.
I felt that about the Christopher Isherwood movie that Tom Ford made, just because I'm
a single man.
When you're such a deep fan, you feel protective of somebody, and you want it to not. Okay, why I bring this movie up? So this is a movie about Christopher Isherwood, Beautiful Babies, if you know, which a lot of you might.
For any new listeners, we do refer to our audience as the Beautiful Babies for reasons that we have completely forgotten. Don't worry about it. You are one. Welcome.
It's sort of like when you have a dog and you have all these nicknames and you don't remember where they come from.
Like our dog Gus, I've started calling him Guzman and Gomez sometimes, but
yeah. Yeah, that's because maybe it's the G.
Yeah.
So anyway, this Tom Ford movie was so stylish and cool looking that it makes you almost feel like those Wes Anderson films. Like, is it only stylish? Is there enough going on? And I think I felt like that Isherwood movie maybe was like too much on the style side. But the Dylan one, I enjoyed that they recreated like certain album covers into scenes kind of, and maybe it didn't go as deep or as nuanced for sure. And you could see where they were like putting together facts that happened at the wrong time just to make the story kind of go.
Which I don't mind,
Right.
but if I may draw a comparison to the Andy Kaufman film, Man on the Moon. Right? That was Milos Forman, right?
Yeah.
With Jim Carrey and Courtney Love.
Yeah.
The reason, what I didn't like about that movie was that the nature of the story they chose to tell didn't actually have the spirit of the story they were telling, right? That Andy Kaufman was like the original troll.
Right.
Like the original spoil sport.
Right.
And to package a piece of subversive art and to turn it into something that is inherently conservative, which is what a Hollywood movie is, right? That's like, the part that I'm like, what's the point of art? Like we make art that's difficult and you got to wrestle with it and grapple with it. And your best bet is that one day your great-grandchildren will get to see you turned into a Disney film with like a romantic comedy.
I guess I was just enjoying, it was like the facts. It was like history of like, you know, he got to New York and and it was just sort of seeing the steps happen.
Facts.
The facts.
Boots.
So the other day, so this morning I was Googling startle reflex because
that's how we roll.
You learn a lot Googling things. Because I have this screaming, like if I hear a loud noise in the car or something, I'll scream, right?
Yeah, it's a delightful process.
So fun.
Yeah.
But you'll listen to one of the things I heard. The person online was saying, firstly, it's a thing that a lot of people Google. It's like a stress thing. I don't know. It's gotten worse as I've gotten older. Anyway, she said first, you know, thank yourself for having this reflex, which I was like, okay, that's nice. But the second step was take 5 minutes, which is like so long, to breathe or comfort yourself or do tapping, if you know what tapping is. Like you tap your face and
EFT, all that stuff.
Tapping.
Yeah.
And the third one was call someone and talk to them about it. But she's like, for example, I might call my husband, but you're always with me because we do everything together and I'm always talking to you about, but I feel like you're so annoyed at me.
I'm not annoyed at you.
So I'm saying, she said it's good to talk about the experience that happened. So anyway.
None of these suggestions seem that scientific. They just seem, this is just someone saying this is what helped them, basically. Right?
I don't know what, I was thinking exposure therapy, but I mean, I get startled. So the other day, this is a great story of the difference between Australia and America, because I've been living here now again for 1 year, and there's a lot of things. I went to a lunch and this woman, American, said, don't even try to compare. Just enjoy Australia. It's too hard to kind of compare it to America or something. Just stop comparing. Just enjoy it for what it is and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we're walking down the street. And what were we doing? We were going to get something for the dog.
Yeah, we're walking the dog down the street. Yeah.
In any case. And all of a sudden, I feel this whoosh behind us, and someone, I won't even say it as loudly because I don't want to scare anybody. What did he say? Like,
I gotcha.
I gotcha. But
like really loud.
Low
like
and loud.
It was like you're walking, having a peaceful walk, and this big energy behind goes, I gotcha. And it was like,
and I felt
scary.
The whoosh right behind me, and I screamed.
Yeah.
And I turned around, and it was this sort of, he was probably an uncle. He was like, you know, because he looked like he was in his late 20s.
Okay,
and he had
a lot of projection. I like the story. I like the world building you're doing around the
incident. He basically was grabbing a little boy who was right behind us, scaring him.
Classic uncle behavior.
Yeah, that's why I called him
that's
an
right.
uncle.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing where you're just like, and the little boy was, I think he was okay with it. They seemed fine. But it felt like he was great. You got scared, but I screamed.
Yeah.
But then I thought, it's because I live in LA. I grew up in LA, where you're kind of scared all the time. Someone's going to like, if you know, they may have a gun in their car. If you're walking around, which no one really does, but when you do, it's dodgy. Like it's kind of gnarly.
Totally. So you're noticing some US PTSD.
Maybe.
Just in your...
And the difference, like, I don't know. You didn't scream because you're Australian.
Also, I'm stoic and an alpha male. And a big part of the way I maintain dominance is by showing no emotion.
Yeah, I don't want to scream like that. It's kind of like... I did that when there was, in LA and Hollywood Boulevard, they have those people that dress up like Spider-Man or whatever. And this guy was around a corner and he would do that. And I totally said, you shouldn't do that. I like scolded him.
You know what? I'm just thinking about, obviously, we're all watching America so closely, right? I mean, everything that's happening, it's like so wild how intensely it's all unfolding.
Yeah.
With Trump and whatnot, all these executive orders. I'm thinking a lot about how, like, my TikTok feed is basically Trump and, you know, Canada and China and all this political stuff going on, and Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively. These are the two sides of TikTok that I'm just like being flooded with. And I'm thinking about how these two cases have something in common.
Oh.
And they're both about total information warfare. And that we are now living in this time where that is what modern warfare is. It's information warfare.
Right.
And
is that a term, or you?
Yeah, it's a term. And you know, 4 or 5 years ago, I got really involved in sort of trying to fight disinformation around QAnon and stuff. And some people were like, why do you care so much about this? Who cares? Let them have their fantasies. But what I recognized in that was that the disseminating of bad information, of lies, of urban legend, all this stuff, is like, it would have a cumulative effect of like destabilizing us. And I feel like sadly vindicated that we're now living in this time where, like, the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing is so interesting because each new thing that comes out, I feel like tugs at my sympathy in a different way.
Yeah.
Where like I'm being forced to kind of pick a side and pick loyalty in this fight that really has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I'm more than ever aware that my consciousness or my attention is the prize in this war.
Right.
It's literally people battling over everyone, just like me, of going, let me try and convince this person that I'm right and that my narrative is true. And it's making me really sad that I'm becoming skeptical and distrusting of like all information that I'm getting, because I feel like that's part of what they're trying to do too.
Right.
Just like stop us trusting our own instincts and our own insights.
So
and anyway,
weird.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I know.
we're living in this, on this battlefield called the internet. And it's like freaking me out, man.
Yeah, the rage bait. What is that?
Yeah, rage bait.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, if it's like the Blake Lively thing is so fascinating because I don't think many people really cared so much like before this about thinking about her or Ryan Reynolds really or Justin Baldoni, like, but there is something so fascinating about it. But if it's like Real Housewives where you're sort of learning about human nature and it's kind of just enjoyable, you know, that's sort of just like entertainment, and even it can be interesting, like human nature, and sort of intriguing in not a dark way. But
well, look, I'm 100% with you on that. I think like the Housewives, the reason we love the Housewives, Salt Lake City and Beverly Hills and old New York. We haven't ventured much beyond that. There's no Dubai, or what's the New Jersey one that everyone loves?
Oh yeah,
Potomac. But the reason we love the Housewives is because we get to talk about our values, our dreams, our beliefs by projecting them onto these situations with the other people. But the real world consequences of this type of information warfare, when you're talking about like, with Trump, it's like, you know, actually like trans rights and immigrants and women's rights. And then with the actual effects of when you deal with anything to do with sexual harassment and the way that shapes cultures' beliefs about what's real and what's not is like scary.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In the sense of like, if there are cases where sexual harassment claims start to be distrusted by the public, that does put a dent in future case. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm saying when we doubt it, we then collectively make it less safe for women to make those cases. So it's just like, there are real world consequences. It's fun to follow as a narrative, but it's like actually affecting the world that we're in.
So the people who feel like Trump's like making good choices, they're just feeling like, well, it's all about make America great again, kind of like it'll be better for the people who haven't been able to have good jobs or something.
Well, it goes back to the QAnon stuff that they believe that Trump is rooting out the deep state, rooting out the pedophiles from all of these agencies and all that.
Right.
That
anyway. Sounds so mental, but I guess it's history repeating.
Yeah, and they've been planting this seed for so long. Yeah. Anyway, but it's making me think about like how fast it's all happening too, because they're using this thing called the shock and awe doctrine, which was like a political strategy that if you move really quickly and you make changes really quickly, you basically overwhelm the populace and they become like basically inert and passive. Right. But it's making me think about how slowing things down. I guess, I went to see Gillian Welch recently at the Opera House. One of my favorite shows I've seen recently. And Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings exist completely outside of the modern pop landscape. Like they're referencing old American culture, and music and folk and stuff. And time felt different in the Opera House. Yeah. Time did not feel the same way it feels on TikTok, watching Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni videos. Right. It slowed down. And it made me think that the job of artists is to slow time down in certain ways.
Yeah. Well, I'm even with AI, it's nice that artists will still, I think people will still want live music and real oil paintings, and I just think that there's still people are going to really want that.
You've helped. I feel like you're like a Gillian Welch concert just as a person. Like you are so in the flow and poetry of life that you slow down time for me, and I think everyone around
so romantic.
You. But it's true. It's like that's a very healing presence when you can slow things down and stop them being manic and help people be grounded and stuff.
Yeah, I was hoping our dog would give me, like I could have some nice slow strolls, but he's going fast, that dog.
So you keep walking around in those clogs. And
I know, I was wearing, it was really fun coming today. We're filming in a studio, and I love, because I'm like an artist mom, I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I love anytime I get the feeling of like driving into a city or taking a bus into the city and getting out of the car and going like it's like I'm playing pretend at being a grown-up. Like it's like to me it's like exotic normcore. Like we came up through and there was all these people going to work and getting their coffee.
Yeah, we're recording in the inner city and basically everyone was like from their office jobs on lunch breaks.
Yeah, to me it's like I'm like, whoa, it's like when our neighbors were professors where we were in LA, and like all the people they know are professors. I'm like, this is so intriguing. And they think artists are intriguing.
That's like an artist's kink.
Yes. But I wore clogs, and I was like, next time I'm not going to wear clogs when we walk into work.
We have been to 2 great parties lately that I wanted to just shout out.
One I wasn't. Why didn't I get to go to that one?
Our kid needed you.
Oh, my teenager. But it was cute because I could tell you were. It's like when my mom was. I remember when I used to diet. My mom would have like a piece of cake and she always be like, it's not good.
Yeah,
you're not missing out. So you went to this party.
I went to Pav's party at the Hollywood
Hotel. And you were and finally the next day I was like, no, you can tell me. I want to hear how good it was.
I wanted your consent.
I love that.
For me to rave.
I know. Because
it was a great party. So Pav.
No, you didn't even want to tell me it was good because you didn't want me to feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, tell me.
So this was after the Gillian Welch show. I DJ'd under my DJ Dad Bod moniker at the Hollywood Hotel. Pav, the guy who started my career, gave me my first show.
He's a bit of an icon.
Sonic Youth, iconic music biz guy. Gio from 10 Williams making burgers out on we rock up to it, and there was like 150 people outside the Hollywood Hotel. And I was like, is this a line to get in? And we realized it was just people mingling and hanging. And it was this mix, probably because we're also, because we're older and cool still. It's like, it felt like a very inclusive space for us. No, but it was like, I love going to places where there's like young, people in their early 20s partying and like just cool people across generations having a great time dancing. And Pav just like knew how to, he knows how to create an amazing
It's so
space.
Nice that you guys, that was so long ago when he went to your
92
teenage show,
Yeah.
hooked you up with Sonic Youth
Yeah,
and the
Beastie
Beastie
Boys,
Boys,
yeah.
and I was around that time too. And then now we've come back to Sydney, and it's so nice you two have hooked up again, and you're doing other projects again.
Yeah, and I think we've also sort of like, the cool thing about having relationships over a long time is you look at each other honestly and you go, okay, this person, this is their strength, this is their flaws. It's okay.
Right,
You can
exactly.
So that was an amazing party. Had an absolute blast.
And
then
the
other one was Cafe Frida's the other night. Byron Spencer's going away party.
Yeah.
He's moving to Paris, and I mean, we've talked about Byron.
He's going there?
He's gone.
Already gone.
He's gone.
That's fun.
We've talked about Byron so much, but he is like, to me, he is sort of the creative center of Sydney in some ways. To me, that's how I think of him.
Yeah, you guys have a very nice.
And Frida's is such an amazing space, which is closing soon, and they're going to be opening. Dave and Carl are going to be opening a new space that they're really excited about. But that is just such a cool. Just been such a cool scene, like right on Taylor Square.
Yeah.
So
I'm about to go off. I haven't been in the States for a year, so I'm about to do some book tour stuff.
So, Beautiful Babies, you probably know this, but Ione's memoir, and you're not a good hype person for yourself, so I'm gonna hype you up for a minute. This book is unbelievable, and it comes out March 4th in America, a couple of weeks later in the UK, then April 4th in Australia, and I feel like you're rocking the boat with this book. I'm telling you,
I'm rocking the boat. I've already, because I'm doing New York Times. And they reach out to a lot of people from my past.
Like not people you tell them to, like they do journalism.
So it's
right?
getting very like, I'm a little bit like nervous because it's like fun. So, because I'm, it's a juicy book. So they're contacting some big names to get some quotes and whatnot. And I'm like, oh.
And also, not that this isn't to start sounding like some kind of like anti-woke defender, but it was a different time. So there were norms in terms of dating and sexuality and ages that were, it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. And I think you're not doing any like you're not trying to throw anyone under the bus or anything, but you're telling your story.
Yeah, I did the audiobook, and I can tell while I was reading it that the producer and the editor, I could feel them loving it, even while I was recording it at certain points. Like I felt like I really did a good job reading it, and it was really, I don't know, I think they were quite blown away.
You can pre-order it.
My dyslexic friends who I've sent the PDF to could read it because it was so engaging.
It's so good. You can pre-order the book now. We'll put the pre-order link in the show notes. But I really think the thing I'm most excited about with this book is it feels like you have been such a private and like selective person with who you let in a deep way. And you are really like opening yourself up for the first time like this. I just think people who know you are going to feel, oh my God, that's the Ione that I know and love. And other people can be like, whoa, that's Ione. It's so cool.
I know. It's so fun. I shared it with someone in England, and she called me and she just wanted to like talk about it. She just was like, I don't even know what to say. I just have to talk about it. It's just been really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's very cool. Now, the other thing that's been exciting is the assassin pasta that you cooked up the other night.
I know. It's not, this is a TikTok thing, back to the online world, but it's like you sort of basically are frying pasta, and it does cook with like sort of tomato paste sauce.
So you put the raw pasta, uncooked, into the fry pan with the tomato concentrate and it fries and
olive oil.
And
Yeah,
garlic,
you did the best one. We made it.
I was following your instructions.
I know, but you killed it. But anyway,
I killed it.
You killed that. The assassin's pasta. I have to send my mom that recipe.
But we cooked for Cameron James and his wife Alex. They came over.
That was the best because I find like when you move or travel, I don't know if people have this. Sometimes even when I just take a trip, I kind of have an identity crisis, like of like, what do I dress like and who am I? And so we moved here, and I was like, I didn't really know how to pull my look together, and I didn't know how to cook anymore. Like I was sort of felt like not grounded, and that was the first meal we made where I was like, I'm back.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back.
And then the next day I went in to record with Cameron. He has this song called Medium Dick that we put out on Weirder Together label. And he wanted to do a like We Are the World version. And so I had to do all these like improv little bits. And I was like, medium dick, medium balls, medium taint, medium asshole. And with all these modulations. And
I can't believe no one ever thought to write a comedy song called Medium Dick before. It seems so like simple and brilliant, but it's like those ideas that are so simple and funny.
Well, much like Michelangelo, he didn't actually write medium dick. He just chipped away all the parts of the block that weren't medium dick.
Right. Very, actually more in the smaller even.
How are you digging the new season of Severance?
I love it.
Which we very luckily, because I'm going to DJ an event in Sydney for Apple TV, we've been getting the episodes ahead. So we're like 4 episodes deep.
I know.
So don't give any spoilers away.
No, but sometimes you get screeners like for movies during Oscar times. But getting these early Severance, I felt very special. So thank you for that. You got them because you're DJing an event. They also had an event at Times Square that looked really cool where they recreated back to the normcore office fetish thing. Yeah. They really have that.
They did glass walls. But I'm loving this season and it scares me because you hope they can land the plane. Like I'm
not worrying. Everyone's worrying about
I'm worrying.
Because of Lost.
Well, because we were Lost people and you get to the end of Lost.
Because of this show Lost and you were like.
You get to the end and you were like, for what? For what?
But I think I'm not worrying about. Yeah, I guess now that I think about it,
because you can keep they keep opening new doors, and you just go like, please let this go somewhere. Please let this go somewhere. But it's masterfully done.
I haven't loved a show for so long, so it's just I'm so happy to love a TV show.
Ben Stiller, unexpectedly, ending up being one of the great directors of this generation.
Yeah, what was
who saw that coming?
I don't know. What was his first thing he did?
I mean, he did Reality Bites, Cable Guy, Tropic Thunder.
But so it's not very unexpected.
I just mean the body of work.
Oh, right.
On the whole, is like shaping up to be up there with like any great American director.
Like, you've got those directors that do 2 or 3 absolutely genius movies sometimes in their youth, sometimes not. And then they sort of like don't ever again. But those people that you unexpectedly, they're like it's like they do this wide variety for a long time. It's kind of cool.
I want to plug a couple things. Okay. This is a good time for me to do that.
Haven't we been plugging?
Well, more specifically, there is an album that I put a song on called Super Bloom, a benefit for Los Angeles fire relief.
Oh, nice.
That was put together by your brother Jack's girlfriend, Nicole Lawrence, great musician. And it's, I sent in a demo version of like this or like that from I'm Fun, but there are new or unreleased tracks from The War on Drugs, Jim James, Jenny Lewis, King Gizzard, Mac DeMarco, Guided by Voices, Bonnie Prince Billy, Dirty Project, everyone. His Golden Messenger, Bedouin, Mary Lattimore. Anyway, hop onto Bandcamp, download that. Ooh. It's for a really, really good cause.
Is Bedouin that band that I saw with Jack?
No, you saw Tinariwen.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing band.
Great.
Amazing band. And then I'm going to also just plug, I've got a few shows coming up. 14th of February in Woolgoolga, which I know I'm not pronouncing correctly. 15th of February in Evans Head, New South Wales. 21st of February in Bowraville. 22nd, Old Bar. 28th, Long Jetty, New South Wales. So nice. I got some shows. People can go to my socials and get tickets to that. Go to your socials, pre-order, Say Everything, whether you're in the UK, Australia, or America.
On Amazon or wherever, right?
Yeah, all the links are up there.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited for you to start playing again.
Me too. I feel like because I did 91 shows last year. I feel out of practice. I got to warm up again.
Yeah, you had a summer break.
Also, if you're digging this podcast, we do a Substack newsletter where you basically just get 2 emails a week, one when the pod comes out and one where we do a pick of the week, which is like one cool piece of culture for you to digest, like a movie recommendation, a song, a book, So if you're like, I think most of our listeners and viewers are people who like, fancy themselves with pretty good taste, then allow us to aid and abet that journey into the arts.
One pick, which is pretty easy.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share with the beautiful babies before we go?
I don't think so.
It's our first one in this new studio.
I love it.
I think we're going to get, more and more comfy. But this is, feeling good.
Yeah. Thank you, beautiful babies.
Thank you, beautiful babies.
Tougher than leather.
Love you.
Together we're weirder together.